G'day y'all, and welcome back to another Ash applications video. In this video what I'll step through is 5 steps, considerations and a variety of techniques that you should use to keep your slouch hat looking in the best possible shape. Alright, so I'll step through your first steps when you get it, how to rebash it, ironing, cleaning and storage. And what I'll do is I'll draw on some of the key considerations that I've put out in it seems like 100 YouTube videos. I'll try and condense it down. By all means go and have a look at those specific videos that you need to help you get through that specific point in time that you're having with your slouch hat. So I'll cover everything from bashing, cleaning, storage, all the way through in much more detail. This is just some key considerations to help you get ahead. So let's go on. Rightio, so the first thing we'll cover is when you first get your first ever slouch hat, whether it's been gifted to you, whether you've earned it, whether you're onto your second one because you lost another one or it got damaged, whatever. So the first thing you should do on the inside, that leather band, is leather. The leather chin strap is leather. Alright, so when you pick up your hat, first thing I suggest that you do is grab a leather balm. My go-to is the Angelus leather balm. I have used different ones in different videos. They all pretty much do the same thing. The reason why I like this one is it's affordable and it also leaves an awesome gloss. Okay, so when you put it on and then you buff it off, it leaves a really good gloss. So leather conditioner on your leather items within your slouch hat, because if you don't do that, and you can see it's starting to wear on this one, it'll start to shrivel, especially when you wear it as your daily headwear. You're going to sweat on that and it's going to erode and its life is quickly going to come to an end. That's going to snap. Alright, so condition your leather. Alright, so the other thing that we do, obviously, when you get your slouch hat, is then you need to make sure that your puggaree is set up with your hat badge and also your colour patch. Much more detail I'll go into those. Some quick tips for that is when you get your puggaree, to find the centre, you just put the ends together. Alright, and that'll get you the centre of the puggaree. However, that's not the end of the story, because if you have a look, this is a good example on this slouch hat here. Okay, that's the centre of the puggaree, but if you look at the alignment of the air holes on or the ventilation holes on the slouch hat, if you came slightly towards the left, it would probably line up in the dead centre of that, and that would give you a more focused idea of what the centre would be when you're wearing your hat. Okay, so that's just a handy tip for you there. Once again, I go into much more detail about that in the puggaree videos. Placing the hat badge. Placing the hat badge onto the front of your puggaree can be quite difficult because the puggarees are quite robust, and it takes a bit of effort in getting some holes made for that. You can use a screw. The other technique that I have used and tested is using a drill. So watch that video. Make sure that before you start drilling holes into your puggaree, you do it properly and you use a hole punch and you put it down on a flat and hardy surface. They'll accept the hole punch getting hammered into the starting point of your puggaree, and then also where your drill bit can then directly drill into. So a scrap bit of wood underneath there, which is clamped into position so it doesn't move, otherwise it can be disastrous. And then the other things just to touch on is the clips on the side of the hat. and also the clips on the chin strap as well. Do not, and I know it's tempting for some people out there, but do not decide that you're going to put Brasso on there and polish it. The idea, I can see why people would like to do that, but it doesn't achieve anything. You're going to get a day of an awesome looking clip, and then all those areas will turn green that the Brasso has been sitting into. You might even spill some onto the side of your clip, and the same with the fastenings on your chin strap as well. If you're going to put anything on them, what I recommend is using just a cotton tip, a cotton bud, and placing a spray of WD-40 onto the cotton bud, and then placing the said cotton bud onto the part of your clip that you place it onto, and that just keeps it well maintained when you're putting the brim up and down. Also the clip itself, so it doesn't get the clip once you're wearing it, if you're wearing that a lot, that'll start to get some sweat on it, and it'll turn green and all kinds of mank. Alright, so once again, when you're cleaning it, use your leather conditioner and a little bit of WD-40 on that. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the colour patch and for the hat badge, and other tips with the clips as well. Back onto the colour patch, just so you mark centre, you can just use a pencil and just a slight mark, and then erase that once you're happy with happy with where the colour patch is on the puggery. You can then erase any said pencil marks with the eraser. Okay, I like to use a square part of you can just cut it with a knife to get that nice edge. Right, so there we go. So use that, and that works well. Alrighty, so the next thing that I'll quickly cover is a rebashing. This is quite common. You can see from the 3 slouch hats that we have in front of you, they've all got different bashes. So that's more of an open, it's a sort of a hybrid between the open square and also the pinched one. They're all fine. All the bashes are fine. It's just your personal preference. So when you receive your hat, especially from the factory bash isn't the best. And I'll show an example up there. That's an example that I had from that's direct from the clothing store. Got it for Benno to replace his old one, which I did a video on. Yeah, so it looks really high, and you can do it much better. So if you want to rebash it, the best way of doing that is placing your slouch hat upside down in a bucket of water and letting it sit there. And when I say bucket of water, that's the best way of doing it, so you're not using a lot of water. You can put it in a sink or something like that, but the bucket allows a minimal use of water and to concentrate it, and fill it all the way up to the top. Alright, so if you have it halfway, you may get a water stain across there. Alright, so make sure that all of the crown is submerged into the water. That way, if there is a line, it's going to cover by the puggery. So using the water is good, so you let it soak in there 12 or 24 hours, and you can pull it out and manipulate it to however you want it, and then let it set to dry. That's a really good technique because it allows you to really muck around with it and get it into the right sort of fashion that you want. If you want to a pinch setting like that one where the 2 sort of sides are touching, that's easily achieved just by using bulldog clips. So you place bulldog clips, and I use so when I do mine, I place cardboard on either side of the clips when I put them on. So one side I put there, and then what that does is it minimises the mark left behind on the slouch hat itself, because the bulldog clip by itself will leave an indentation, especially when it's wet. If you put a bit of cardboard on either side, so another piece of cardboard here. You can see there, a piece of cardboard there. It minimises, you're still going to have some indentation, but it minimises the effect of the clamping of the bulldog clips on there. How you get rid of the clamping marks is you just use a steam iron. Use a steam iron, don't hold it directly against the slouch hat, but press it so the steam, so the iron's away from the hat, and the steam actually works in, and it makes those grooves disappear. And it does it quite effectively. The other method you can use is just by what I just said, is just by using steam from a steam iron, or you may have a steamer. And the other technique I showed you was an alternative to that, is you just use a pot of boiling water, and you hold the slouch hat over that to use the steam on that. And that's good just for fixing up little areas, because it will dry a little bit quicker, or much more quicker than submerging your hat in water, and it allows you to get into those little areas that you need for the steam, and make the hat malleable so you can place it into the form that you would like. Once you're happy with the bash, let it sit, leave the clips on there. If you're doing the pinch method, leave the clips on there. Spray that whole area with methylated spirits. Methylated spirits is the only thing that you'll need. In previous videos I've said use starch. Starch is really hard to find now in the proper mix. They have like starch in those aerosol cans. Don't worry about using that on your slouch hat. Just use methylated spirits. That is the best hardening agent that you'll find. It's cheap, it's really available. I have one ready to go in a spray bottle all the time, because I'm always doing these, and it works so well. And that's hard. That's an old hat, and that's hard. All right, that will not move. So there's my tips there to rebashing. So we'll move on to the next one. Rightio, so the next step there is ironing. So if you leave your slouch hat, you're sitting unattended, not stored properly, and you'll see examples of this all the time, like on eBay or in an op shop or a disposal store or something. If you see an old slouch just sitting there, you'll see that it'll have some indentations in it, and it'll be skew-if on one side, and the bash is looking terrible. If you store it properly, it'll stay in great shape. All right, so to get it into a great shape, you need to pay attention to it and iron it. So when you're ironing, I like to use a steam iron, and this is from my. And so I'll also have a video there on how to set up your ironing station. All right, so if you set up your ironing station properly, you'll have no issues whatsoever when you're ironing your hats or uniforms or anything else. Alright, so ironing, use a steam iron, and most importantly is fold your chin strap up inside it under the leather band. So you don't want it to be lying unattended underneath the brim, because what will happen, the steam will hit it and the hot temperature will hit it, and that leather strap is short-lived. Okay, you'll go through chin straps like you wouldn't believe. Alright, so pay attention to that. And then you can slightly wet the area of the slouch hat that you're going to iron. That does help. And then also is I use a soft cloth. Now this is an old issued singlet. I don't think they're issued anymore, I have no idea. But what's good about these is they're really soft, they're cotton, and they work fantastically. So you dip that into your water, just so when you wring it and some water's coming out, that's fine. It doesn't have to be running wet. Damp or holding a bit of water is still good. And I've got many examples of me doing this. You simply just place it onto the area that you want to iron. Make sure it's all flat, like you're not going to have a bump in there. Alright, so make sure that when you place it on there and you shift it into the area that you want to iron, and then you can iron it. Just make sure there's no ripples on it. What that does, that heat transfers into the brim and it makes it nice and flat. These slouch hats are incredibly robust, and they will come up wonderfully if you just treat them with a bit of dignity and regular maintenance. So that'll work out really well. So once you've ironed it and it's nice and flat, you then go back to your hardening agent and you spray the brim or any other part of the hat. You don't have to take the puggery, leave the puggery on, that's fine. Spray metho on it once again, and then you have to put it onto a flat surface with a heavy weight on the brim. Now if you haven't, the best way to use it is like a large book like that, and you can also put a weight on top of it as well. Okay, so you might put one book there and then another one, you know, on the other side, and around you go, and leave it sit there on a flat surface. Like your floors are, you know, hardwood floor is perfect, and you know the top of your cupboard's perfect. You know, a table, anywhere where it's flat. And then let it sit with the metho on it, and it'll harden up and it'll be wonderfully flat. So it'll come up nice. So that's the best tip that I can give you with ironing. Right, next step is cleaning. So whenever you have it sitting, it's naturally going to, like every other item in the world, is going to gather dust. Alright, so stepping through the methods of cleaning, I made a dedicated video on this, but just quickly, using a soft brush. This is like a horsehair soft bristle brush, anti-clockwise, and the felt will lay down. Okay, if you go clockwise, you'll see that the felt will stand up, so it's really good to go anti-clockwise. The felt will stand down. You can do that for all over the hat. You can just see by me doing that, all the dust that comes off it. So brushes are good. If you have, and this is, if you have like really stubborn stains, you can use sandpaper, and if you're going to use sandpaper, make sure you use it very sparingly. Having said that, these are tough. I made a video on Benno's where I had to use some sandpaper, but use a high grit, work up a high grit, so don't go any lower than probably 60. If you're using 60 grit, that's a big stain, man. But I always start off like that's 240. You just start off with that, and you just gently rub the area that the stain may be in, and then use your brush over the top of that, and you just continue to do that. So sandpaper can be useful to get out stubborn stains, and also don't forget that you can use a vacuum as well. So if I vacuum my slouch hats, I use like a car type vacuum. It's nice and portable, right? So that's easy to use. A little nozzle gets into all the crevices. It works surprisingly well. And then also stain prevention and also water shields as well are really handy. So I have used, so for example, I wanted to try out the felt hat care kit. Whenever you're trying stuff like that, make sure you use that particular item on an inconspicuous area. Make sure it doesn't stain your hat. Alright, because I haven't tested every single product on the market, so I don't know, I couldn't say, yeah, that's really good or that isn't. I've only tested a few, and I stick with the ones that work. So that one, felt hat rain and stain protector, it's not bad. It doesn't stain the hat at all, it goes on well. And then also, back to where we're doing cleaning, you can use a cleaning spray as well. The water shield, I've used that on numerous occasions. That's that particular brand, that's Sally's Water Shield. That's from Bunnings, for those people who are residing in Australia. That works really well. It doesn't leave a residue, it doesn't stain, and it works really well. The water just beads off. So that I can recommend that. And then being leather, okay, so if you have it stored for long periods of times, if you're not wearing it, and you know, it may be like a display hat for you, like most of mine are nowadays. Once again, I come back to mould gets in there, you clean mould off, and I did another video on that. Soapy water is the best way of getting rid of it, with a brush and cloth. You can use a steamer as well. Use it that sparingly though, and just be careful when you're using a steamer on that. But soapy water does work well. And then last but not least, once you've cleaned it, especially getting rid of the mould, whenever you're cleaning your Slouch Hat, it's always good to place on your leather conditioner. I can't emphasise that much, how much this is so good for your hat, and in particular for your chin strap. Right, so there's some quick tips for cleaning. Right, and the last tip that I have for you is storage. So storage, what I'm talking about there is, obviously once you're not wearing it, you need to store it somewhere where it's going to remain in an awesome state. So like I said, a flat surface, and preferably with something, a weight on top of the brim. Books are perfect. They themselves have weight. You can add you know, weights on top of that to place even more pressure onto the brim. And of course, if you really wanted to, and this is what I recommend, is that you go all out and you buy a Slouch Hat press and carrier. Alright, so I have them for sale. I have used them myself for over 20 years. Fantastic item. They'll never break. They'll last longer than you will, I will say. So all the designs there, and they're a simple item. I've taken them on planes, carry-on luggage. You just chuck them in the overhead locker like that. Carrying that on through the airport, you just look professional as well. Right? So you're not carrying it in your hand and then trying to stuff it in an overhand locker. I've seen people stuffing Slouch Hats in bloody dive bags and ash bags, you know, coming back from deployments. Just did my head in. So yeah, so there you go. That's what you need to do it properly. So travelling as well, if you don't want to carry it on as onboard luggage, you can place it into your luggage, in the Slouch Hat cover, Slouch Hat press and carrier, and just pack around it. Right, so I've got a video on that as well, so how to travel with your Slouch Hat. So that about wraps that up. Just a few tips there. So if you follow these steps, it'll ensure that you'll have, you know, the best enduring care of your icon, because it's iconic, world recognized symbol. So you've got one, you've earned it, look after it. Even when your days of serving are over, you can have it displayed proudly, even on one of these on the wall. That's where mine sit in the study. So there you go. Once again, fill in any questions. If you have any questions on looking after these things, please let me know. I'll help you out as best I can. We're all in it together. We all want the same thing, and that is to look good whilst you're wearing one of these representing. Alright, so thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. And just lastly, for some bonus footage, just to show you what my daughter made for me for my birthday, my very talented daughter. So I had a whole lot of accoutrements just sitting in the drawer, not doing anything. I haven't worn the uniform for a while now, but she then had this idea of I could just do up this denim jacket as a bit of a token of my years in the service. So that, you know, she's just placed all of the small rising sun there. We have got a Mac wearing a slouch hat. Some of the cool shoulder flashes there, cool badges. Even done some really good stitching there on the sleeve, and then onto the back, onto the reverse side, which is really amazing. So she's got hold of the poly belt and embroidered that into the jacket, and then placed on a few of the ranks I obtained there whilst I was in the army. So really great momentum for me, memento for me. A great present. So thank you very much to my lovely talented daughter.